Welcome back. If you're new, you can have me scuttling around inside your skull by subscribing. Click the bell notification and you won't miss anything. Here's a couple of your comments from my last video, which was the reveal for the new intro you've just seen. First off is from Creepy Clown Girl. I literally jumped out of my skin. Very, very well done. And congratulations on all your accomplishments. You're a wonderful narrator.
And Creepy Clown.
And I'm glad to be part of the clown posse. Creepy Clown Girl, great to hear from you again. I like that. Clown posse. And here's a comment from Elroy Aiken. That very last bit when the creature rises up and makes the shh gesture sealed the deal for me. Roy, it's always great to hear from you. And here's a really nice comment that's just come through from Dr. Blue. Hello, bedtime horror stories from the clown. To be honest, I have never heard about you. I found you through Instagram as a suggestion, but just heard a couple of minutes of your video. I love it. I love clowns. And your voice, man, dude, amazing. Well, I'm subscribed. Keep up the amazing work because that quick you have a fan. Dr. Blue, thank you so much for that. I'll be knocking on your window later to say thank you in person. This horror story is narrated by Don't Turn Around.
It was a miserable night. The rain belted down outside and I was stuck at the front desk until 6 a.m. I worked at a mid-range brand name hotel. Nothing too fancy. The reservations. Only one hadn't checked in. Being so late, my mind wandered. I had imagined they'd fallen prey to the serial killer in the news. You know, the one who left his victims posed like an angel. Then I snapped back into the real world. For the first time, I focused on the name. Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande? Cat from iCarly? Cat from Sam and Cat? One of my favorite singers? Gosh, I loved her, and she was coming to my hotel. Nah, I'm pretty sure it was someone on the last shift playing a prank on me. But then the phone rang, and it was a deep voice. He said Miss Grande would be there in about 10 minutes. He was a part of her check-ahead team. For a second, my voice cracked nervously. He told me she required absolute privacy and discretion on my part. No one was to know she was a guest in the hotel. No one. My heart beat faster as I watched the clock. My chest got all nervous, and I knew any moment she would come in. Our call-ahead person asked that I leave the key ready at the front desk. He had paid in advance over the phone, saying she was tired from traveling, and I assured him I wasn't some stalker. Just then, the front door opened. My head spun with eager hope, but it wasn't her. It was some large, gargantuan man with an odd scar on his face. He looked like a serial killer. Instantly, I eyed him suspiciously. Safety of the hotel guests was completely my responsibility. He slowly approached my desk and stared at me intensely. He looked a little like the police description, but had other features that didn't match. He certainly had this scary vibe. During the whole check-in process, my eyes were on the front door, still eagerly awaiting Ariana Grande. As Mr. Gargantuan walked away, like magic, the doors opened and she came in. A hat masked her hair and dark sunglasses covered her movie star eyes. My heart beat faster and faster as she approached. I wanted to shout out, "I love you, Ariana Grande!" But I knew she had heard it way too many times. So I tried to remain professional and displayed her key. She smiled. Yes, Ariana Grande smiled at me. This guy. And then without another word, she gracefully whisked up the key and walked towards the elevator. The elevator doors opened and then closed, and she was gone. The smile inside my chest wanted to explode. It was the most amazing feeling ever. I wanted to tell someone that she was at my hotel, but it was so late and all my friends were asleep. A few hours later, a group of girls came downstairs. They were in town for a cheerleading meet and had the munchies. I so wanted to tell them that Ariana Grande was in the hotel and that she was in the room right next to him, but I couldn't. They would be sleeping next to possibly their biggest idol and never know it. I promised her check-ahead guy that I wouldn't say a word. As morning came, my shift was near its end. Bobby McGee, a local beat cop, stopped by for his usual coffee. I loved him coming in because he made me feel safe. Occasionally we'd have a few homeless people there also, since the allure of a free coffee machine for guests is like a light for a moth. Bobby came over and made some small talk. He told me to be vigilant and be on the lookout for anything suspicious. The angel killer was escalating. He showed me a sketch artist rendering, and I told him it looked closest to the gargantuan man who checked in earlier. As Bobby went on about how gruesome this killer was, I started worrying for Ariana Grande's safety. At 6 a.m. my shift was over, and I drove home and went to sleep right away. When I woke, I had breakfast, played some video games, and then went back in for another grinding shift. I switched on the radio.
Police have cordoned off a 2-block area and ask for any witnesses to come forward immediately. Again, 4 people are confirmed dead at Pierre Hotel on the east side.
I gasped in horror. As I pulled up, there were multiple police cars and even a helicopter. I saw Bobby, who then approached me.
4 victims, all posed like angels.
I asked him what room, and then I realized it was the girls from the cheerleader meet. I assured him the hotel had excellent surveillance, and he told me they'd already gone through the footage.
Let me ask you something. What do you recall from last night? Someone in sunglasses and a hat.
What do I remember? Everything. It was Ariana Grande. He looked at me like I had lost my mind.
Ariana Grande.
Yeah, she checked in last night.
Which room?
He asked urgently. I quickly led him and the other cops down the hallway. Oh God, I hope she's okay. As I opened the door, Bobby pulled out his gun and motioned for me to stay back. He ran in swinging his gun in all directions and then kicked in the bathroom door.
Clear!
The police all lowered their weapons. He motioned me in. On the bed were Ariana's sunglasses and a wig. It took me a minute to understand. The angel killer had worn a disguise.
The person who checked in, what would you say they sounded like?
It was then that I realized she didn't say anything to me.
Could she have been a he?
I was floored, embarrassed, but mostly sickened. I had let the angel killer into my hotel. If I had realized, I could have done something. All of this was my fault. That night, the hotel transferred its guests to another hotel and shut down. I drove the streets knowing I had lost my job, but I didn't care about that. All I cared about was finding him. But everyone on every corner looked like he could be the angel killer. I sat down in a diner and contemplated why the angel killer would pose people as angels, and called all the hotels in the area to be on the lookout for a fake movie star or celebrity checking in. The angel killer had the police after him, and now me, and I was going to be relentless until I had him in my grasp.
Remember to subscribe. Leave me a comment. I'd love to know your thoughts. One of you listening now is going to have me knocking on your window in 5, 4, 3, 2,